Hello, Phúc. Welcome to the speaking test. Let's start with part 1. How often do you do exams?
Well, being a full-time student, I am no stranger to academic tests at all, like I do it every day. Well, not that often, but believe me when I tell you, it does feel like that.
Now we'll turn to part 2. You'll be given a topic and have 1 minute to prepare. Describe a time when you spend a lot of money on something. Time's up. Can you start speaking now, please?
So, to tell you the truth, I consider myself quite a thrifting person when it comes to spending money. I mean, I'm not usually willing to go all in on shopping. However, that was not the case for the very last go of 2019 when I was preparing new clothes for a Tate holiday. Well, after mulling over a lot of options on the website, I had picked up on some items and decided to take them home directly from the shop. But making plan is just one thing, executing it is another. When I was there at the shop, things escalated quickly after I set aside the sole items that I was supposed to purchase. I ended up buying more than I intended. Thankfully, I was able to take control over that excitement soon. But that's not to say I regret buying them, because at the end of the day, I do need them. And the thing is, I have experienced the strangest Tate ever due to COVID-19 pandemic and social distancing policy. So basically, I have been self-quarantining at home the whole time, and those clothes thus have been lying idly in my suitcase since then, and I guess now I have to save them for the next winter because summer has already come.
Thank you. Let's move on to part 3. In this part, I'd like to ask you a few questions about this topic. Spending money. Do people spend too much money on luxury items?
Yes, obviously. Overspending on expensive things can be attributed to a host of factors. For one, I think wealthy people may see it as the way to show off their lucrative life. And I think if they work their tail off for that money, then no one is in position to judge. Another reason for purchasing luxury items can be due to addiction. There are people being obsessed with making a whole collection of these products just for personal interest.
Thank you. That's the end of your speaking test.
All right, Michael, what did you think of Bảo Phúc performance?
He's definitely very confident, happy to answer questions. He's able to extend throughout all of his turns. When you're doing the speaking test, and particularly this is online, he might have been a little nervous. And I would just like to see him be a little bit more direct and just go straight into the answer to the question. Yes or no, and just tell me why. Rather than kind of paraphrasing too much or just trying to use too much vocabulary. It's better to start with the answer and then use the vocabulary to describe why.
What do you think about his pronunciation? Are there certain words that he should be working on?
Yeah, so there were a few nouns and different parts of speech that he mispronounced, which hurt his fluency because he was a little bit difficult to understand at points. But in general, he was able to be understood. He had some really great lexical resources. His grammar was good and consistent throughout. All the mistakes I heard weren't really repeated very often. And didn't really affect my understanding, and he's got good fluency. So I think overall it was a great talk.